You can order the inner and outer tie rods used in the video on CarParts.com via the link in the description. Turn your engine off and set the parking brake. Loosen the stud bolts on the front wheels. Lift the front of your vehicle. We strongly suggest watching our video on how to jack your Honda Civic safely before carrying out this step. Place the vehicle on the jack stands. To be able to replace the inner and outer tie rods on your vehicle, you need to remove the wheels to gain complete access to the steering system. Don't forget to put the wheels under the vehicle. Turn the brake disc inward to make this operation easier. You can now see the outer tie rod. The components to be removed are very often seized up, so don't hesitate to brush and to use penetrating oil to make removal easier. With a marker, trace a line between the inner tie rod and the outer tie rod. This will be useful later on during its assembly and disassembly. With a 24mm wrench, loosen the lock nut on the outer tie rod. Hold the outer tie rod to prevent it from turning. Remove the cotter pin from the castellated nut of the outer tie rod with pliers. Using a wire brush, brush the castellated nut and spray it with penetrating oil. Using a 19mm wrench, unscrew the outer tie rod holding nut. If you do not have a ball joint puller, a tool specifically designed for this task, take a hammer and hit the knuckle. The ball joint should come out of the knuckle. Unscrew the outer tie rod and remove it. Use the markings made with the marker to return the lock nut to its original position. Then, measure the distance between the lock nut and the end of the inner tie rod using a caliper. In any case, a wheel alignment check will have to be carried out by a professional soon after having performed this operation. Remove the lock nut from the inner tie rod. With pliers, remove the external metallic clip on the protective sleeve of the inner tie rod. Using a flathead screwdriver, remove the waterproof clip on the sleeve. Remove the sleeve. Remove the waterproof clip on the sleeve. Using a tie rod removal wrench, a specific tool for carrying out this job, you can now loosen everything without difficulty. To do this, insert the tool up to the fixed part of the inner tie rod. Then, with the help of a breaker bar, unscrew the inner tie rod. If the inner tie rod is dented, you can loosen it using an adjustable wrench. Remove the washer.
Hey, it's Alex from CarParts.com. If you enjoy this video and want to support us, like, comment, and subscribe. Okay, back to work.
You can order the inner and outer tie rods used in the video on CarParts.com via the link in the description. Install the metal washer on the steering rack by placing the tabs in the rack notches. Take the new inner tie rod and unscrew the lock nut supplied with it. Put the inner tie rod back on the steering rack. Still using the same tool or an adjustable wrench, screw the inner tie rod back in. Finish tightening using a torque wrench. Then remove the tool.
For great content, our best price, and fast shipping, download the CarParts.com app now.
Now take the sleeve provided in the kit. Then apply silicone grease to the part of the sleeve that will be in contact with the steering rack and the part in contact with the inner tie rod. Now take the new clamps provided in the kit. Then position the inner clamp correctly. Place the sleeve on the shock steering rack. You can now crimp the collar with collar pliers or pincers. Replace the outer collar. Screw the lock nut back on until the distance measured with the caliper is reached.
If you want to know which parts and tools we use in this video, just check the description and you'll find everything you need.
Take the new outer tie rod and unscrew the lock nut supplied with it. Put the outer tie rod back in place until it touches the lock nut. Using a wire brush, scrub the knuckle. Then apply silicone grease to the flat part that will be in contact with the sleeve of the outer tie rod. Do not grease the inside of the cone. Use a wrench to rotate the inner tie rod in order to place the outer tie rod in the correct position. Put the outer tie rod back in place in the knuckle. Apply pressure to the outer tie rod using a jack to prevent the ball joint from rotating when tightening the nut. Put the castellated nut supplied with the new part in place and tighten it using a 19mm wrench. Finish tightening using a torque wrench. Take the cotter pin and fit it into the castle nut. You can now bend the cotter pin. Remove the jack. Finish tightening the lock nut using a 24mm wrench by holding the outer tie rod still with the help of a 22mm wrench to avoid damaging the tie rod. Then you will be able to put the wheels back on your vehicle. During this operation, you will work on the steering system of your vehicle. A professional alignment check should be performed to ensure that your steering system is once again perfectly adjusted and functioning. Put the car back on the ground and block the wheels properly. Operation complete.